Submit to God. Sit down and the Holy. I'm just sitting in my room. To tell a man, leave the children alone.
Right, so guys, today we're going to go through the now, but going back to Now Investigations 10 in 2018. You've seen that we did it in a form of a previous video. We called it part 1. This is part 2. I have no idea how many parts this series is going to go, because I don't know how much of it yet is going to be uncovered, because I haven't finished transcribing it all. This is what we've got out of the next bits, and this I want to get out pretty soon, hopefully today actually, because of the election. How the demonic spirits.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of people that need to heal over this. I mean, with all this, you know, with the deaths and, you know, them saying it's coronavirus, when we know for a fact a lot of people have had other health issues that has caused their passing. You know, the government said it themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of people are going to need healing. You know, I think the world is going to be, you know, it's changed forever. We can't come back from this. This is it. We're in it. You know, we're in it to win it. Yeah. So, yeah, and I think, you know, I think we can do it. I think we can do it. If the people can do it.
June 2015. That was crazy, wasn't it?
Deity will come. By fire the mountains melted.
Coming in May. Is it for? I said yes when I said. This is the point I actually wanted to cover in this video, because obviously in 2 days, as of recording this, before this video will be out before the election, we are, you know, in the midst of probably what is the most important election in a generation. And it's important for a number of reasons, because there's a lot of weird manipulation around this. Obviously, you've got on the one side, you've got Biden, who is kind of your traditional sort of politician. There is a lot of stuff coming out now that is suspected corruption. I'm saying suspected corruption here, right? Because we might have feelings about it, we might have vibes about it. The guy hasn't been put on trial. So as far as I'm concerned, we've got to keep it as suspected corruption, right? Even as much as we might know there is corruption there, you have to kind of reach your hand out to that middle ground. There might even be suspected corruption on the Trump side of the camp, okay? There's been suspected corruption there. And there's also other factors. There's groups that seem to be aligning. With Trump, you've got the whole QAnon movement. With Biden, you've got the whole bloody Black Lives Matter movement, and you're getting all this twisting and spin in the media now, which is depending on the alignment of the media, is hitting out against these different groups. And you're also getting this polarization happening where people are calling out the left. This almost like this, and we've even had this on a prior session where it talks about the army coming in. It talks about there's almost like this communist. I think it says about socialism or something in a previous section. I'll put that in this video. Any spirits want to speak with me here tonight? Device I have in front of me, you can use to speak with us. Ask who I'm speaking to, please.
India. An embraceless.
They've even spoke about it when it comes to the ghost boxes. They've used that politicization will happen. Now, the interesting thing where it says about Hollywood, I know it might seem like a generation ago, but we had the Golden Globe speech with Ricky Gervais. One of the things he said when he came out. And there's a lot of, there's been a lot of murmuring around Hollywood. And the fact for it to say that they're kind of shaking in their boots and using the mountains melting, as in you think of Hollywood, you see the mountain with the Hollywood sign. So whether that is actually a figurative, so whether it's the breaking down of Hollywood, and yet he does nothing. Is this a case of, if there are corruptions and things going on in Hollywood, are they being brought to bear? Is the energy conducive now to those things being brought out? Is Trump having a hand in that? Or is it the case is happening in spite of Trump, and that's what compels him to step forward, or has compelled him to step forward? There's a lot of sort of conspiracy surrounding Trump, and I'm not sure whether I believe it or disbelieve it at the moment. It's a case of we have to wait and see what happens. But there's definitely a lot of polarization going on here. And it's quite interesting, that sort of set of responses. What do you make of it, Rich?
Well, I don't think it's referring to Trump when it says he will step forward. I think it's referring to something else.
Okay.
I think it's referring to someone that comes forward to say enough is enough. Tell you the truth. Hollywood shaking in their boots, so they should, right? So they should. I mean, if you look at every bit of written text and people that have come forward about the scandals that go on in Hollywood, then they should shake in their boots. It's depraved. It's wrong. It needs stopping, and it's you know, and everybody. This is the problem with turning a blind eye. This is the problem. This is what happens when
no,
we all
it needs to be confronted. It needs to be out in the public domain. You know, this idea of it be, you know, this QAnon idea of it happening behind closed doors. It needs, if it is corruption, it needs to come out. It needs to come out, and the people that are, if we don't have a fair sort of trial or judiciary sort of process with this, where they have to account for those people who are running the corruption, which we know is running the world, because there's corruption running this world, and I don't care who says it. There has been corruption running this world for God knows how long, right? That needs to be brought to bear. That corruption needs to be brought and put on trial. And I'm not talking about a public witch hunt. It needs to be a fair trial, because we can't move forward unless that happens. We can't.
Well, it happened with us. I mean, we had an AM, £9,000 to take a 168-mile journey in expenses. That's corruption.
Yeah,
that is corruption in its purest form.
Yeah, exactly.
£9,000.
Yeah.
You know, and it's got us. And what was done about that? Did we hear anything about it? Has anything been brought to justice? Nothing.
Exactly.
And this is why they just keep perpetuating them, themselves getting away with it. You know, our own government has just given themselves a £3,500 pay rise, and they've cut the people at the front line of all this, and they've cut their wages. They've capped them. It's, you know, it's enough's enough, and we just need, you know, we need enough people to stand up to it.
What will we experience here on Earth?
Let's say profit. In the darkness, I thought he said.
Kind of like listen to how it says it.
You come and get me.
Come and get.
Sit down, and the only
I'm just sitting in my room.
To tell her man, leave the children alone.
Christian people.
The Christian God. There's the lights behind your head on the tower.
Was originally conducted.
Yeah, you know, you tell the men to leave the children alone. You know, cursed are the people brought to bear. I mean, that's biblical talk. That's biblical. You know, it was originally in the garden.
Yeah.
You know, it's
using the frame of reference for the Bible, isn't it? Because obviously, I asked about this before, and I think what came through is it's the most, you know, in the audience that we are talking in, it's the most sort of commonly understood. And obviously a lot of the Abrahamic religions have those sort of commonalities, threads within them. Even though people fight over them, they have those common threads, even though they might be interpreted in a slightly different way. Like, I think what I said about the prophets, I've always not liked when we went through that in 2017 where they called us that. And I think, like you said, it's teachers, it's people that I don't place myself above anyone else or think I know better than anyone else. I don't feel myself as special in any way, shape or form except unto myself. And what I mean by that is the only person I can be is me. So I want to be the best version of me I possibly can and have the best experiences I possibly can. And in order to do that, I need to share those experiences with other people and share that love and connection with other people. That's what's in my heart more than anything else. And I don't want, no one wants to be living through this, but we've got to go through it. Like you said, within it now. And I think it's the law of unintended consequences. Is the people that do actually come through this. I'm watching people talk about this, watching things like talk radio, watching different shows on the internet, people having debates, and I'm thinking they haven't quite grasped that aspect of it yet, but you can see the ones who have, if that makes sense. And there's a lot more, there's a silent sort of majority or a silent minority of people that seem to be grasping some of these elements here, and I think that's where it's going to happen. It's not going to be, I'm quite surprised how this hasn't tipped into some full-scale uprising and riots, to be honest. And I think a lot of what we're seeing here, a lot of the change is going to be, in a sense, silent, because A, the media's not going to touch it, and B, a lot of it's going to happen within families, within circles of friends, where people have the feeling that they need to speak up to the ones closest to them and say, look, this isn't making sense.
Well, they're going to blame the people who stand up to it. See, they're going to blame the people that protest against this. Now they're going to blame the people. That's what they're going to use.
Well, young people are feeling that.
This is a big manipulation. This is manipulation on a grand scale, and they're going to use every. I mean, we've been saying this since the start of all this. Everything we've said on this channel has happened. So, I mean, it's there. It's there for you to see this. I mean, this message. We don't know the source really,
no,
but. If you look at the message, it's so in tune. And this is what? How long ago was this given to us, Jazz?
This is January 2018.
And how much relevance does it have for right now? It's insane. And this is what it's about. This is where this is the battle. This is the battle.
Yeah. It's not a battle of swords and guns. This is an internal battle. It's a battle within. It's a battle of to find the better angels of our nature and start listening to them. And that's what we have to do. And we're all doing it. We're all throwing but to a certain extent, we are all throwing the blame game right now because we're all feeling under threat. So to a certain extent, I can understand when you mentioned the Welsh First Minister saying that I hope people don't mess this up for themselves again. I could perfectly accept that he might feel that way. I could perfectly accept that I don't think the First Minister of Wales is part of a grand global manipulation. I feel this is happening on a level underneath the surface. This is happening on almost like a subconscious level in many, many, many ways. There's a.
But the thing is, he's paid to though, Jazz. He is paid to. He is paid a lot of money.
I can understand that. I can understand that. But I can understand that, and I can understand that there would be policies that put in place that have caused this division. And I want to know if the guy's lost sleep over it. I really do, right? But what I'm trying to say is, I can also understand because a lot that mentality is shared by a lot of people. I can understand the place that comes from. That's all I'm trying to say is I can understand, even though it's a dark place, it's a sinister place, I can understand the place that comes from. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because I've got it. I've got that place inside of me that just wants to just wants to say, come on people, let's just get on with it. But when I'm faced directly with that question, without the 100% evidence, or very, very close to 100% evidence, it's very difficult to make that determination and negate all risk factors given the amount of conflicting ideas. And I'm not talking about evidence here, I'm talking about conflicting ideas. Because evidence you have to look at critically and make an informed decision. The most infectious thing on planet Earth, guys, is an idea. Because that is in your head. That's in your head. That's there. There's going to be all you could sit there and go, this virus doesn't exist. And you could have that mindset, right? And you could portray that mindset as much as you want. And you were telling me there's not one part of you that goes, well, what if it's wrong? What if there is actually something else going on that is putting... What if I do go out and I catch something, I bring it back? It's brought that into focus. And that is going to be playing on people's minds, no matter what they say outwardly. And the reverse is also going to be true. The reverse of when you're seeing it's a deadly virus. What if it's not? That's the spell that this has kind of put us under. Does that make sense? And that's what I'm trying to get to, is not so much looking at what the politicians are doing and the policies they're putting in place. I'm looking at it from an aspect of us sitting here as a person, you viewing that information and having to make your own decisions and having to justify what you believe, because people who believe in what they see in the media, like we've said, for me personally, I've had to try and step back and look at all sides of it and see what's going on, and try not to let it affect me as much as I possibly can. It hasn't always worked, but that's the stance I've tried to take with it. But other people are gonna be, and even if the government came out tomorrow and says, okay, it's all over, the virus has gone into remission or whatever, or herd immunity has happened, or if that happened tomorrow, that idea is still in the mindset, and that's what's going to have to be confronted, because it's still there, and we still gotta do, and no evidence in the world is going to countermand that idea, because that is coming from a different place to where you look at evidence. Because I could show you this all the evidence that we've gathered and showed on this channel, and we could show that to someone else, and they could have a completely different take on it, which is just as valid as the take that we are giving on it. So that's, I suppose, where it's the mindfuck, and where it's talking about healing, and I think it's given us that, in a way, it's given us an opportunity, because when you actually get to that point of being stable and in it yourself, it starts to show the other parts of what's happening. It's starting to show the if that's true, then that can't be true. If that's not true, then that has to be true. It's starting to cause that, it's shaking things loose. Like I said before, it's shaking things loose, and a lot of people don't want those things shaken loose, and that's why I think they're acting in the way they are, in a very cognitive dissonant kind of way. It is. Okay, so we're going to end our video there, unless have you got any further parts, anything else you want to say on those responses? We're going to end our video there, and we're going to do part 3 as to the next as to the continuous responses in a part 3, which will be coming out soon. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, love and light, and we'll see you soon.
Love and light, para peeps.
Hi guys, it's Jared from Paranormal Now. I hope you like the channel and hope you like the content. If you do, check out some of the other videos on screen now, and click the button below to subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you soon. Take care of yourselves.